All right, we back. Y'all hoping y'all like the new intro. We out here popping with it. Dynamic Duo Podcast, episode 6. We're coming at y'all.
Already.
We got a little USA recap. Just talk about the hooping lately. They played what was it, yesterday? They play again against Serbia. And then we got power rankings. We got the contenders, we got the middle guys, and then we got the bottom feeders, the bottom tier. We're gonna go through every single team in the NBA. This is gonna be cinema. Here we go. Mose, I'm gonna toss it over to you, a little USA recap, because you watched the game and I actually did not.
Yeah. Dude, so yesterday it was at 12, which was weird. Like I figured out it was on like on Instagram or something
Weird,
because
bro.
it's in Abu Dhabi, so it's like 10 hours ahead or something. So
Elite, yeah.
just turned it on and saw the very beginning and they got off to a hot start. LeBron and Ant both hit two threes. AD was a menace on both sides of the ball. They got up to a big lead to begin the game. But then like once the second half started, they got lazy. They looked like lackadaisical.
Okay.
Everyone was scoring a little bit, but I mean, they just Australia just kept hanging in the game. But like everyone's getting equal minutes though, so it's like I feel like it's hard for like Anthony Edwards or LeBron or Curry to get in like a groove.
Yeah.
But I feel like by Olympics time, they're not all going to be playing the same minutes. So
Yep.
like I feel like they're going to be able to get hot and get in a groove, especially with like the players they're playing with. So I think they'll be fine. They play tomorrow against Serbia, but they'll be fine once Olympics starts, I think.
The Joker. The joke. Hey, that's gonna be fire. I'm about to tune in. Hopefully it's not noon, but it probably will be.
Yeah, it might be.
Uh so yeah, I mean, we called the starting lineup, Curry
Mhm.
and Tatum, Braun, and Bede. I could see them bringing like Ant off the bench for just a
For
ignite,
KD.
but like you also just want to start them.
Yeah.
D-Book can come in and get buckets, but yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how they actually play them when the Olympics are going. Shoot, AD might take over that starting center position,
He should.
or he
He
just might
should.
play more than Embiid. So we're gonna
It's
see. I
yeah.
mean, it's obviously exhibition. They're still getting warmed up. Their chemistry, like only a couple guys, LeBron and AD, got really good chemistry. The rest are still figuring it out, but
Yeah.
we're gonna see about when it actually gets to Olympic play. But I was thinking about this. Everybody talking, it's the first time Curry and LeBron are playing together, but it also might be the last time they ever play together.
Yeah.
So and obviously, LeBron and KD. So that's crazy. We never know
First and
what
only
will
time,
happen.
yeah.
First and last, enjoy it while we got it. It's gonna be crazy to see in the real Olympics, but
Yeah.
hey, shout out to USA. They're doing their thing. They almost slipped up at the end, but we come out with the win.
Yeah.
All right, now let's
Yeah.
switch gears a little bit. We're going NBA off season, going into next season, the power rankings of the 2024-25 NBA season. We got our contenders list. Here we can see for y'all.
Here we go.
Our contender tier, we got our middle tier, and we got the bottom tier of the NBA going into next season. And this is not based on regular season. This is who we think will win the title. Best odds in our mind, not Vegas. This is us. This is all us. So
Hmm.
let's kick it off right from the rip. I'm gonna go through my contenders, but we're gonna argue about what we got ahead. So as y'all can see, I got Celtics, OKC right after, T-Wolves, Nuggets, Knicks, Mavs, Sixers, Bucks, and then Mo's over here. Got
Got
does we
you got the
change how we
Celtics as well. We got the same four, which is
do top
crazy.
four in order? I had to bold the others that we didn't
Yeah.
have the same.
And I had Sixers at 5 because they got Paul George. I mean, that's a big get, and the Knicks are obviously a lot better, but then the Mavericks and the Bucks. It's crazy that we both cut off our contender leader both after 8 teams
Yeah,
without
because
even knowing.
we it's just kind of who we can legitimately see winning the title. I
Hmm.
think it might cut off after the Bucks. We're gonna get to the middle tier later and talk about it's basically teams that are like one move away or we still got to see more. Like they're not fully proven and all that, but these teams right here are up and coming, or they've proven a lot in the past, and we can see them winning it all. Um, so I got some notes on just the top four before we get into the others. The Nuggets, or I'll just start Celtics. Only question they got is Porzingis. He might be out for a while, but they're reloading. They let off their shots, won it all. This is a full reload. They're cocking their gun. They're ready to go. Thunder are coming for the Celtics. You know what? They are up and coming. I could see them with the best record in the NBA next year. They only got
Mhm.
better. They kept all their core, got Josh Giddey out, Caruso in, the boy Hartenstein.
They're all young too. Like they're all gonna play
They're
every
ascending.
regular season game. Like you got
Exactly.
Shea, Jalen Williams, Chet, Dort all back. They're all gonna play like every game almost. Caruso doesn't sit out games. He
Yeah.
played he played almost every game for the Bulls. I mean, adding him, I mean, yeah, they're on the come up and they just had that great year last year, so we both put them at two.
Both
I mean,
got them at two.
number one in the West.
I hopped them over the T-Wolves and the Nuggets. It is crazy, but I just think they added so much like depth and defense with Caruso, Hartenstein, and they didn't really lose anything that they needed. Like Josh Giddey's not something they needed on that team. And like, he's a good player, but they didn't need him. I
Yeah.
got T-Wolves above the Nuggets because they got more depth by far. They're younger, and the Nuggets are kind of descending. They didn't get better. They lost KCP. It's gonna have to be Christian Braun or one of the young guns coming in to start, or maybe they go a big lineup. They got Dario Saric in the offseason. Like, I doubt he's gonna start, but he might. So I don't think the Nuggets are getting better, but I think the T-Wolves are. Obviously the T-Wolves made it farther than the Thunder. And the only reason is that I don't have him above him. I just don't trust Cat as a number two option, which is crazy because I still got him as the third best team in the league. But man, if they
Hmm.
had like one more dude and Cat was the third option, I'd be fine. But too many times he just disappears and just takes himself out of the game, and he's just not a great number two. I just don't like
Yeah.
his play style and all that. But
Hmm.
that's why I still got T-Wolves ahead of the Nuggets. They obviously beat them in game seven. I think they're getting better. The Nuggets are not getting better, but they still got the joke, Jamal Murray. They're still a
Yeah.
beast of a playoff team that you really don't want to run into. So
Hmm.
is that the
Yeah.
same thing you got, Mose, or what?
Yeah. I mean, so we had the same four, literally. So the
Great.
Celtics, I feel like they didn't need to get that much better to stay at number one. They didn't get anybody in the offseason. They didn't have to. They
Right.
were obviously going to win it all, and they were the best team by a mile. And they paid everybody. I don't know how they have the money to do so. We'll figure that out down the
Not for
road.
long.
Yeah. But I mean, going into next year, I think both having a number one is the right way to have it. Then the Thunder and the Wolves, they both got a lot better, obviously, with Thunder getting Caruso. And then the T Wolves might have won the draft. I mean, look at Shannon,
Yep.
what he's doing in the summer league.
Yep.
He's picking off right where he left off from Illinois in the tournament. He was going off every game, 30 bombs on everybody. Um, and then they got Rob Dillingham from the Spurs, which is going to be a big get. We're both really high on him.
Yep.
Uh, all the Kentucky guards end up being good. I mean, we can't even name them all.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big get. They'll both come off the bench, but they had a great year last year in the playoffs. They showed what they can be in the future, even with like what you said, Cat's not like a great second option, but it's a team where they're all young, they can all defend. So like you got Gobert and Cat down low, twin towers.
Nas Reed.
Nas Reed, McDaniels. So it's like you don't need like an insane second option with
Right.
Anthony Edwards, who's already so young, and I don't know, all these dudes are so young. And then yeah, and then at number four we got the Nuggets. So they technically could be lower because last year they didn't really make the Final Four because they weren't in the conference finals, but the Mavericks did. Um, but yeah, let KCP go. They didn't really get anybody. Their draft wasn't phenomenal. They didn't get anybody great.
Yeah.
So, but they still have Jokic and Jamal, like what you said. So I think you got to have them up there.
You
They're a
got
great regular season team too, and they're always a top 2 or 3 seed. Um, so I think that putting them at 4, I think is a good fit, and we both had that.
Yeah, and I mean the easiest dude to play around if you're hopping into a starting lineup is Jokic.
Yeah,
So I mean, Christian Braun, it might be him.
he
It
needs
might
to step
be,
up.
it's got to be him. He's got to be able to shoot, defend, and just a completely change of role, which honestly is probably gonna be better. Like no one likes playing 15 minutes a game. Like he gonna be playing 25, 30 minutes a game now. Like, hey, it's now or never. Step up. They got the best player in the league. You can't put him any lower than this, honestly, because we've seen so much. And if they didn't blow that 20-point lead against T Wolves, they probably would have
Mhm.
ended up in the finals. We both had them over the Mavs in the playoffs when we were talking. So it's just a nightmare matchup with Jokic, but the T Wolves had the guys to beat them, and they did. And the Nuggets
They
blew that
matched up
lead.
well.
And yeah, the T Wolves are ascending. Like we said, we love the draft. Terrence Shannon, I mean, like he's just built like an NBA player. Like backup 2, backup 3 to Ant and McDaniels, I think is great. We called it on draft night, and I mean he's balling out in the summer league. You can't take summer league too crazy, but you just want to what it looks like. Do the eye test. Does he look like an NBA player? 100%. This
Yeah,
dude, it's again such a deep team. It's gonna be hard to play on this team, but he gonna have to find his role, juice off the bench, and yeah, Rob Dillingham, seventh man, whatever it is, come in, microwave score. It's gonna take him a little get used to, I think, just because of his like frame and all that. He does do some erratic stuff on the court, but I mean, he's just so unique. He's hard to guard. There's no one
yeah.
like him in the league. Like, I don't even know who to compare him to. He's like a Lou Will mixed with like a Kyrie skill and all this.
Garland, something like that.
Yeah, like just
Handle really quick.
straight bucket. He can shoot. Not to get used to that NBA three and all that, but a natural bucket getter, a hooper, a pure hooper is what they call him. So he'll
Yeah,
figure it out. And obviously, they don't need him to start. So
no.
but yeah, T-Wolves one of the deepest teams in the league. I think the only teams deeper are probably the Thunder and Celtics. So that's what we got.
Maybe maybe the Knicks. They're
Maybe
pretty
the
deep too.
Knicks. Hey, so
But
let's go right into it.
yeah, well, it felt weird. Like I feel like it would have felt weird putting one of these teams above the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, they were good last year, but putting them above the Nuggets like right now going into the next season,
Yep.
I just don't think I could have done it. You didn't either.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so my next team is the Sixers, who they got Paul George, Maxi's getting older, and you obviously got Embiid.
Better.
They also signed some other players around. They got Eric Gordon. Yeah, they got Eric Gordon. They got Oubre. They got rid
They're
of
back.
Tobias Harris in that shitty contract. Um, and then you got the
Okay.
Knicks at 6. That's who I had. And they got McCall. They're loaded after last season. I think they are second or third best team in the East. They're going to be tough to beat, especially with the home crowd they got in playoff games. Um, and all those Nova boys together, they got chemistry already.
They
And
run
then
it.
Mavericks, who just lost in the finals, but I would have said like going into last year, if like with or next year, if they didn't have Clay, they probably would have been even lower because obviously they made the finals and they could have been like number 2 just because they made it.
Yeah.
But adding Clay Thompson's huge for their offense,
Yep.
and they're definitely going to be a contender next year. And then I just thought for number 8, you got to throw the Bucks in the contending tier just because you have Dame and Giannis on the same team. Not
Yeah.
really much else than that, but Giannis is still in his prime. He's going to be for a few more years, and I couldn't count him out yet.
Yeah. So reason why I got Knicks and Mavs above the Sixers. Only thing with the Sixers, I mean, it really just comes down to Embiid and Paul George in the playoffs. We've seen too many chokes and too many just bad performances from Embiid in the playoffs, honestly. And also, is he going to be healthy like for the whole playoffs? We've never seen it. He's never been through the playoffs without getting hurt, which is crazy. And then like Paul George is just, he's not that guy anymore. He's like we said, a great number three. And they did get better, so I got him higher, but I'm still taking Knicks. I think they're a more well-rounded team, better defensively, and the only thing they're lacking right now is big depth. They might go Mitch Robinson at center, they might go Julius Randle at center, and that's fine, but Mitchell Robinson's not going to be a playoff center. Like he'll probably get played off the court in the playoffs, so it's going to have to be Julius Randle in there.
Yeah.
A small lineup, but I just love the like not just because it's the Nova guys, but Michael Bridges was literally a perfect fit for this team. And honestly, any team in the NBA wants Michael Bridges. Like he's not a number one on a team, but he's a perfect two or three. He doesn't have to score. He can lock up, can hit shots, he can get his own bucket. I think it's going to be a great looking team. I got
Yeah.
them above the Mavs because yeah, like we said, Mavs went to the finals. They were missing a lot on offense, just shooting overall. They got that in Klay Thompson, but I still think they're missing some on defense. So I can't put them that high. But with prime Luca, Kyrie, and Clay out there shooting, then they got PJ and Lively. It's a pretty good starting lineup. But again, they're lacking depth. So I almost could put the Sixers above them, but I really like Luka in the playoffs, and I think his game elevates in the playoffs, and I think Embiid's kind of goes down. But it's
Yeah.
gonna be interesting to see. That's the only reason I got Mavs above the Sixers. It's just you're splitting hairs, but Luka with the ball in his hands at the end of the game is putting fear in everybody's hearts. Whereas Embiid, I mean, shoot, Maxey might be the clutch guy over there because Embiid sometimes
Yeah.
looks like he doesn't want it. So, and then obviously there's no ceiling for Maxey. Like every year he gets so much better. And so, he could take them over the top. Truly, he could be the guy. And then, yeah, switching out Paul George for Tobias Harris is one of the craziest like upgrades I've ever seen. Paul George doesn't have to be that guy. It's gonna be good for him. And yeah, they're going to be a contender for sure. It just comes down to playoffs, man. We've seen it too many times with Embiid. So, I don't want to put them that high, but they're in my top seven. And then, yeah,
Hmm.
Bucks with Giannis, he missed the playoffs. Everybody really forgot about the Bucks. Like they will be right there just off Giannis alone. And then they got Dame to just give him a second guy's offense. Chris Middleton still a bucket. They're just old and like man, if they had a guy like Michael Bridges, holy cow, they're top five easy. But
Yeah.
they're just old, and Brooke Lopez, Middleton, Giannis, they're getting up there in age. Dame's old, so it's going to be interesting to see. But also, there's not many guys, not many teams I'm taking in the playoffs over Bucks with a healthy Giannis. Like you're
Hmm.
scared for sure. So,
Yeah. And so yeah, pretty much they just had injuries last year, the Bucks did.
yep,
Um, but yeah, we each have four East, four West teams. I don't think last year we would have had four East teams in the top eight. Probably would have had the Clippers or something. They got worse.
yeah,
So same eight, but a little different lists. The only reason I was thinking about the Knicks and Sixers, but if I'm thinking about them matching up together, I think Maxi's going to take a leap, like you said. Him and
yep.
Brunson's a great matchup. The Knicks have great wings against Paul George and Oubre, but I'm just thinking who's going to guard Embiid on the Knicks? That is he averages 35. I mean, what makes him not let him get more than 35 against the Knicks? I mean, they got Julius 6'10 guarding 7 foot Embiid.
That is
I don't
tough.
know.
I
I think
just
he's
think
dropping 40 ball every time.
Yeah. I think they can wear him down. I honestly like Embiid never looks like he's in great shape. And I just think over a 7 game series, I think they can wear him down a little bit. And
Hmm.
they're gonna have to bring him in that pick and roll, stretch him out on him on Julius and make him work on the other end, which we know
Yeah.
Embiid a great defensive player, but he don't want to do all that all game, I promise. So,
He doesn't, but he's gonna. I promise you, the Knicks will go through 2 to 3 centers. They will get
oh
in
yeah.
foul trouble. They'll get in foul trouble, and they're not gonna know what to do when Embiid is getting the ball in the paint every time against Julius. They're gonna have to get another center, I think.
Yep.
But other than just the center matchup, they match up great against them, and that's why it was a back and forth for me for the Sixers Knicks. But
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I got written down here just a big question mark, lack of big depth.
mhm.
They're gonna miss Hartenstein, but they couldn't afford to keep him.
Yeah,
You got what, 30 million a year from the Thunder? Like that's huge. The Thunder are thinking like, yeah, we can win it soon. We need it. So yeah, obviously, but I do love the Michael trade. They're trying to win now. They said screw the picks. Nets, y'all can have them.
yeah, I
Honestly,
would have done
one
the
of the
same thing.
wildest trades ever, but I love it for their team. Yeah, it's just gonna it's come down to big depth. Like they got Mitchell Robinson is starting. That's not the best. So
No, but their wings do make up for
but
it,
yeah,
and they did just sign. They just signed Walmart version of Brunson and Campaign today. One
yeah,
year,
yeah.
1 year, 3 mil. So
Dude,
he'll play a little bit.
don't even say that. Don't even say that. He can,
No, he doesn't even get that label.
but yeah,
Still.
they are deep except for at center. And who knows? They might come out there run Julius at center the whole year and
Hmm.
just have Mitchell off the bench and Jericho Sims, dude. I don't think he's gonna play much. But that's the only question. They're lacking bigs, but hey, the league is going in a different direction. They just might just outwork everybody. Josh Hart's out rebounding half the NBA, and he's 6'6". So, you know,
That's true. I
and
mean,
we know where the NBA is going. You got to have these wings. Obviously, we're talking about it. They need to match up with the Celtics. Porzingis doesn't play like a big, so Embiid's really the only big you got to worry about in the East.
I
And
know.
I think they can
And
give the Sixers a great match.
that matchup that's all the only thing the Knicks have to worry about besides the Celtics is the big matchup against Embiid. Other than
Yep.
that, they look fine. And I guess the Bucks a little bit, but the
Yep.
Knicks at 5 and 6 going in on both of our lists going into next year, I don't think we would have had that going into last year. Like we wouldn't have
No,
thought,
not at
thought
all.
about that.
And yeah, it was Jalen Brunson carrying a lot. And now, like you said, Michael can give you 20 a game easy. So
Easy.
it's gonna be I love this team. I just want to see them on the court together. DiVincenzo and Hart off the bench could be crazy.
Yeah.
Or they
Or
could start all of them. Like, dude, they got a death lineup that is
they got
crazy.
options.
They got options. And we love it. But yeah, these top eight, I can firmly see winning the title.
Hmm.
Obviously, it's going to take a lot to beat the Celtics, to beat the Wolves, Nuggets, and the Thunder. But if Porzingis goes down, the Knicks are coming for the Celtics. I
Yep.
promise you. Along with everybody in the East, I mean, that's the team you're chasing, and the Celtics completely reloaded, didn't lose anybody. It's going to be this next year is going to be great. And like we said, they're not going to be able to keep that team for long, so they're going for it again, obviously. It's gonna be crazy.
Yep. And I can easily see them going for it. I mean, as long as they can keep paying these dudes, Derek White, they're all signed for a few more years. Maybe Porzingis' contract's going to be a problem. Maybe
Yep.
Drew coming
Shooting a
soon.
lot.
But yeah, they're number one. Out of these 8 teams, who would you be most surprised that won it all? Is it the Bucks? Because I mean, I have Bucks at 8, but I can see them winning it
Yeah.
before the Sixers. Like
I
the
was
Sixers
just
are
about to
five
say
just
the Sixers.
roster wise.
Yep.
I don't know if the Sixers are like I'd be most shocked if the Sixers did win, but they
Okay, I
are
like
five.
that. And then well, I mean, yeah, I like that a lot. Most shocked I would be at the Sixers just because, man, like they've never been out the second round and with Embiid. And
Hmm.
I mean, it's been a long time. They finally got a great team though. They got depth, but it's gonna be interesting.
They will be top 4 in the East though, so you might as well put them in the top 8.
Hey,
You
if they're healthy, yeah, they're gonna be up there. But I mean,
know?
shoot, they were seventh this year just because Embiid missed half the year. But so yeah, is
Let's
that
see that
wrapped up
middle
for
tier.
is that wrapped up contenders, Mose?
It does.
I think
Let's see.
so.
I want
Uh,
to see what you got.
let's go to this middle tier, baby. Here we go. We're going right down to it. Let me move this down so y'all can't see what we got down here. All right.
Okay,
So you got whoa. You got one of your bottom tier on there, but
that's fine.
let's get straight to it.
Okay,
Okay, so
both
yeah, Pelicans
both got the
fall
Pelicans at 9.
right at 9. And this is middle tier, just so we can talk about it. I think that
Mhm.
this is all basically one move away, or we just need to see more. These are young teams or just old teams that are fading. It's a little bit of both. So these are guys that we would probably be shocked if they won it all, but they're right
Yeah,
there. You know, they're one move away. Let's just call it that.
one move away, maybe one injury away from like a contender team.
Yep.
I don't know, or maybe an in-season move one of these teams could make, especially like 9 through 12.
Yep.
So
And so yeah, start off rip with the Pelicans. Big move in DeJounte Murray. I mean, they didn't lose anybody huge. Um, just bench guys and Dyson and Larry Nance, but we just need to see it. Like, they don't have any bigs. Daniel Tice is looking like a starting center right now. So they're
yeah,
either going to go a small ball lineup all year, or they're just gonna, have the big guys start and not play them that much. But yeah, if they got a great center, they would be in my contenders for sure. But we've yet to see them do anything in the playoffs. I'm a huge Pelicans fan. I don't think they've won a series, maybe ever, honestly, like in the last 15 years. I
yeah,
don't know if they've won a playoff series. So we've yet to see it, but they got such a good roster.
they
Honestly,
do.
big depth besides the bigs. They're right there.
I know, but
Got them 9.
what's good about the Pelicans team is Zion, even though he's 6'7", and yeah, he hasn't played like one playoff game in his whole career actually, which is crazy.
No way.
He hadn't played one playoff game in his career because against 2 years ago he was hurt and this year he's hurt.
Jeez,
But
dude.
they have depth with Murray, McCollum, Ingram, Zion. Zion
Heard.
Zion makes up for having a okay center though, because
Yep.
I get he's 6'7", but he's a rebound machine if he wants to be when he's healthy, and he battles down low like your big should. So they're okay with having like a stretch five because Zion can play big and play the four.
Yeah.
So number
And
9 for both of us.
yeah, their whole offense centers around Zion. Like when he's not in, they just don't have like a go-to guy. And DeJounte can be that a little bit. He can be, the clutch scorer and all that, but they really just need Zion to stay healthy and maybe make a leap.
Yeah,
I don't know what that would be. It doesn't have to be numbers wise, maybe just dominance, just efficiency, and just please stay healthy. Can we get Zion, like you said, to play a playoff game?
yeah, one at least. Like
One,
played
please.
one game. He played the playing game, but got
Yeah.
hurt,
And
so he
then, yeah,
didn't play in the
exactly.
playoff games.
And then Brandon Ingram, same thing, always hurt at the worst times. And yeah, I don't know. I just don't know if there's another level for Brandon Ingram, but he's not the number one. He
Yeah,
might not
big good
be
too.
even the number two, but he's up there. It's just it's a great roster, but it's gonna be weird how it shapes up, how it fits. So
Mhm.
it's gonna be interesting to see. But yeah, we both got him at 9. We both like him a lot. Let's get
Um,
into some
10 through
controversy.
yeah, 10 through 15. I'll just
It
do mine
gets
real quick.
wild.
So
Let's go
I have
back
the
and forth.
Suns at 10, just because I think personally the West is just way more stacked than the East,
Yep.
especially last year.
Yep.
Yeah, they got swept by the Wolves, but if you look at like talent wise,
Yep.
they are up there, and it was kind of like it was really weird how they got swept. They have KD, Booker, Beal. None of them are like showing age like that much. I
Ran
mean,
off
they
the
had
board.
shooters. I guess defense is just their problem, but I got them at 10, and then followed by the Kings. We haven't really talked about the Kings that much. I'm really high on the Kings.
You are.
You got them at 14, but yeah, they were in the playing games. They didn't make the playoffs last year, but I think they have what they need with DeMar. He's going to be ball dominant, and so is Sabonis. But You got Darren Fox running around playing defense, and then you got Keegan Murray and Kevin Huerter, however you
Yep.
pronounce his last name, and Malik Monk, who are all spray balls. I mean, Keegan Murray had 12 threes in a game last year, catch and shoot threat. I just think they're gonna make a big jump next year. And then I had to throw in like some East teams, I guess. So I threw in the Pacers, Halliburton. I mean, I don't really know what to say about them, really. I mean, they made a great run in the playoffs. They ran against a hurt Knicks team, so like they didn't show that
Very
much.
young. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were young and very injured. So and then I had the Cavaliers behind them, just because they're young too, and I think Garland and Mobley, if they want to, I guess, be 13 in this ranking, they need to make big leaps because they can't just keep relying on Donovan
Yep.
every time. And
Yep.
him and Garland together, one more year, we'll see if it works. But they're both really ball dominant, and I don't know
Yeah.
if it works. It hadn't so far.
So yeah, I mean, they got the new coach. That could be
Yeah,
big. Obviously, if you're gonna get a new coach, you can't trade the team. So they kept Donovan, kept Garland, Jared Allen, all them. They said they're not trading any of them, but yeah, like it's just hard to be impressed with them when I feel like they're underselling each year, but they barely got out of the Magic last year. I got the Magic at 10.
yeah,
I think there's going to be a significant leap from Paulo and Franz, and then they got the boy KCP who fits into their team perfectly.
that's
They
true.
they need some vets. They need defense shooting. KCP can do that for you. I think Paulo's going to take a leap. They caught everybody off guard, and I mean, I just like the young team. They do got some missing pieces, but like what's their center gonna be? Wendell Carter, maybe. But yeah,
Yeah.
Suns right after him again. They're made. I mean, they're just made to get buckets, and they're a playoff team. But getting swept by the T Wolves was just embarrassing. Like they got flat out mopped, and it wasn't even close. So. They're obviously not on that level, but KD and Book, you got to keep them up there. They're just missing some pieces for
You
sure.
got to. They got hella talent.
Like we said, Cavs, Pacers super young. I think they're getting better, but I don't like they don't really got a number one guy. Like is Halliburton your number one? Like who's the number two? They just got a really solid team and honestly some of the best depth in the league. If you watched playoffs, their bench was outplaying everybody's bench in the league, and then they
They
just got
were
matched up with the Celtics. So
name hard.
uh
Um,
yeah, you got Kings way up there. I got them a
yeah.
little farther back. I honestly I probably should have them higher, but it's kind of just like we need to see. It was
Mm,
weird that they went from like what the 3 seed to the 9 seed or 8 seed.
yeah. They ended up being the 9-10 game and then lost to the Pelicans.
Yeah,
Then they
which
beat, I don't know, lost to the Warriors or something.
yeah, I think it
They beat
was
Warriors, lost to the Pelicans.
yeah. So exactly, which they definitely just have a better overall team than the Warriors as it is right now. But the Pelicans had their number all year. I don't know what it was. They just
They
could not beat
did.
the Pelicans,
That's
and
fact.
so we kind of knew that was going to happen. But yeah, DeMar, like it's just going to be interesting to see the fit. Like how is it going? Like he's not going to be dropping 25. We know that, but it's going to be interesting. I mean, it's a clutch time score, a little more offense. He's not really going to help you on defense, but Harrison Barnes out, DeMar DeRozan in. That's an upgrade. You got to
Yeah.
put him up there. I might be slacking on him a little bit, but I just need to see it first. I need to see how
Yeah.
this team works together. But again, offense, dude, they are going to be putting up 150 points a game like they were
I
last
know.
year. Like it's going to
And they
be
play with insane pace. I mean, with
right.
Foster as your point guard, Sabonis is always playing fast. They play with great pace. So yeah, they're going to be putting up points. But it's like, I don't know, when I'm making these rankings, it's like, are the Kings really like once you get to 9 and 10, it's like, are the Kings really 11th in the NBA? But I mean, some of these all these teams are just up for grabs. And
Right.
if I were to rank them, I mean, that's what I had them at 11, and then 14 you had them. 14 I had the Lakers, who we haven't really got to yet.
We got a lot of talk about there.
Yeah, they
So
haven't they didn't improve. They had a great draft in Dalton Connect, and then 55 Bronny, who's been awful in the summer league. We all know why they got him, and I was hoping he'd be good. I was hoping he'd make some threes, show some athleticism. He's 0 for 15 on threes. That's another story, but I
As
still got him at
a
14
squad.
because LeBron and AD are not going out sad. They're gonna be okay in the regular season, but I still have some trust for them in the playoffs.
I do like
So
that.
I don't know. But they
Yeah,
didn't get anybody. They just re-signed all their mid players that
exactly.
they already had.
They didn't get any better, and it just like I just comes down to D'Lo in the playoffs. Like I just
Yeah,
he's so one dimensional. I feel like he's like only offense, and he's just kind of like a shooter now, and it's just like
inconsistent.
yeah, exactly when it's not working, it's ugly, and he doesn't defend. It's just that's not what they need on the Lakers. They need some more defenders, that's for sure. They couldn't guard
I
squat
don't know.
last year.
Defense and
We all know Lakers need defense and shooting. They got Connect boy with he gonna help with a little bit of shooting, but they got a decent roster. They just need defenders. They need some more role guys and like they just have no depth, I think, at all.
no, no.
So they just need more defense on that team. Like I said, D'Lo does not help them at all for defensive wise, and I just think he just doesn't do so well in the playoffs. But uh,
Yeah, he
I'm
was
not really the biggest fan. Like I said, he's kind of one dimensional. But yeah, what were you gonna say about that?
just dude. Like I remember mid-season last year, he's like, I want to take on that Derek White role, like from the Celtics, what he does for them. That was going into the season. It's like, you
That's
no, you
crazy.
didn't. You're just
That's
I
crazy.
mean, dude, there'd be some games where he would turn up and he'd get like six or
Right,
seven threes. He can
right.
get hot. He's just so inconsistent. And it's like some days you love him, some days you hate him. Austin Reeves, he's fine. I mean, he's a good two-way player or two-way player and a good two for them.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just not like an insane shooter, but he does what he needs to in his role, I'd say. You got LeBron and AD. It's just like who's that fourth starter? Again, he's not consistent. It's Rui, and then Jay Vando. You could start him. He's their best defender on ball, but
Yeah,
he just brings nothing offensively. Absolutely nothing. And then you re-sign Christian Wood, Cam Reddish. You lose Prince, which is fine, but you get Connect. I guess he's the substitute for Prince.
yeah,
But I mean, how good is that as a rookie? I mean, yeah, good draft pick, but and then you still have Jackson Hayes as your center. AD doesn't even like playing center, but he has to for because they have no good center. So I mean, I still have him at 14 though. I mean, yeah, they didn't get any better, but um, yeah, but a lot of West teams did get better. So I
dude.
want them to be 14. I want them to stay up there, but we'll see. I mean,
Yeah,
the
dude.
West is going to be a shit show.
The West is loaded. Obviously, they got JJ Redick coming in to coach. That's going to be huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just got a team full of kind of like one-dimensional guys besides LeBron and AD. Like it's like we said, D'Lo is offense only, and when it looks bad, it's real bad. Austin
Yeah.
Reeves is kind of offense only. Like he's not really like he's not locking anybody up. He's not a
No.
great rebounder and all that. So like pretty much what we're saying, they need a guy like Josh Hart. They need a couple of dogs on that team. Like again, Jared Vando, one dimensional, straight defense, nothing
Defense,
else.
no
Maybe
shooting.
rebounding, nothing else to the table. So it's just it. I've got written down this roster cannot win a title. It's just simple as
No.
that. They're missing like two to three guys that are like legit guys. Like there's no way they could run and keep up with like the T Wolves and the Celtics with their loaded teams and like yeah, they need a Derek White or a Josh Hart and those guys just aren't out there falling around. So this is what you sacrifice with LeBron and AD, but you know,
Well, when they did win it all, if you
talk
can
about
remember, if you when they did win it all, which I think even works better now because LeBron's older. They didn't have a true point guard starter, so LeBron played point guard. I think that works now because he's older and can be on ball and just make the reads. And then so you have D'Lo, who's their point guard now, but their two and three was KCP and Danny Green. So they would guard the guards on defense, the one and two on defense, but LeBron on point guard would play point guard, and they'd be the shooters on offense. So I think you need like a catch and shoot guy, and they both could play defense. So I think for this
Yeah,
roster, Reeves fits fine, but
dude.
like you said, a Derek White type guy would be perfect, and D'Lo's too like ball dominant. So if they could somehow work it, it's hard to like get players around LeBron because you don't know if they want to play with him or not. But if he could run point guard and offense and have two smaller guards in the lineup with him that can shoot and play defense, that's what I would go for if I'm Pelinka and Redick.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, I think they threw the team away. We all know when they traded for Westbrook in what 2021. Because
Yep,
yeah, they gave up. I guess they let Caruso go, traded KCP, and got rid of Kuzma. And it's like now looking at it, like that's exactly who they need on this team.
exactly.
Caruso, KCP, Kuzma, and they had JaVale and Dwight Howard at the big guys. Not to mention
Mhm.
that. So they do need a. I think they need a backup center or like a true big. They don't have that, and then they just need defenders and shooters, like we said, and those would be the perfect guys. And now
I
they're on
know.
different teams. Obviously, the money wouldn't work with KCP and Kuzma. Like they're getting bags now. But yeah, I guess you're gonna have to just find the diamond in the rough. Maybe, hey, Rui's gonna have to step up. Vando, play your ass off. Austin Reeves, turn up, and then
Yeah.
God, yeah, like D'Lo is not a point guard at this point. He's like a two, or like like he can go do what he wants on like the Nets or something on his own team, and they would be one of the worst teams in the league. But he can get his stats and all that. It's just like
Yep.
he just doesn't fit as a starter on a championship team. There's no chance. I just don't. I just can't see it. But they like pretty like a guy like Mike Conley would kind of work. He can
hmm
defend. He is kind of a floor general, someone like that. But yeah, it's just there's we know what they need and they don't have it. I just don't think they're a
Yeah.
contending team at all.
Yeah.
But
Definitely middle tier.
so yeah, that's why I also got the Heat above them. I trust the
Yeah.
Heat in the playoffs. They're a little younger than the Lakers, but they don't have that firepower of LeBron and AD, but they just have a more well-rounded team. And honestly, I think they could have made some noise if they didn't run into the Celtics. And then also Jimmy got hurt. Jimmy is just a different beast in the playoffs. So I like the addition of Kello Ware, honestly. Again, a big to play alongside Bam, maybe come off the bench, just defend, rebound, and can kind of do it all. Like, I think it would be great. I think it's gonna be great for them. They're just consistent. Terry was out, he didn't play. I think that's gonna help them a lot. And I mean, yeah, I don't think they needed another shooter on the team. I think they needed some bigger help and just, more defense. And so I always think when the playoffs come around, the Heat are dangerous. So I got them one spot ahead of the Lakers just because the overall team, obviously LeBron and AD are miles ahead of Jimmy and Bam. Well, not miles ahead, but pretty far ahead of Jimmy and Bam. But
Yeah.
the rest of the team is just not even close. And, they
hmm
developed their guys so much better. Jaime Jaquez probably would have got lost on the Lakers, and we wouldn't have seen him do this. So
hmm
I hope that Dalton Connect can shine for the Lakers because I feel like if he was on the Heat, like he would find a good role. And the Lakers they don't play rookies the last however years it's been 6 years.
No.
So
And they should have Jaime Jaquez on their team, by the way. They
and
drafted,
or Cam Whitmore. Let's
yeah,
talk
or
about
Cam
that.
Whitmore. But speaking of Jaquez, they could have him. They drafted Jalen Hood Schifino. And obviously that was a bad pick. Yeah, I mean, Jimmy
Uh,
Butler's gonna have to prove me
Cody.
wrong again. I got him down at 18. I just think he's getting older. He's been hurt. Rozier and Hero, I mean, they were both when one was hurt, the other one wasn't. And then Hero gets hurt and Rozier's fine. But dude, looking at their lineup, I mean, Rozier, Hero, Butler, Bam, and Hami. I mean, that's a sneaky good middle tier team that could rise.
You bounce
But
over it to it
I just
right
think
now.
they're gonna have to prove me wrong again. We can look at the Heat's depth chart real quick.
Go to their depth chart real quick, dude. If anyone's gonna prove your ass wrong, it's gonna be Jimmy Butler.
Yeah,
I
we'll
promise you
see.
that.
I
Hey,
don't. I wouldn't promise that.
So, I mean, they got Jovic. Obviously, Jaime Jaquez is probably better the player right now. But yeah, again, Duncan Robinson, Caleb, a solid guy off the bench. Kayla Ware. So they got a pretty solid lineup. Josh Richardson, they're all good backups. I do mess with it. I think it's better than the Lakers, just overall depth and lineup. But
Hmm.
like we said, I can see you having old boy Bron and AD carrying them.
Well, I just think if they played the Heat in a playoff series, which it'd have to be the finals, which isn't going to happen, but if they were to play them in a 7 game series, I'm putting all my chips on the Lakers.
Dude,
They are not losing to the Heat.
I know, but man, it's gonna be tough, bro. The Lakers just couldn't guard anybody. It was AD and no one else defending.
Yeah, but Braun owns Jimmy Butler. AD will own Bam. I promise you.
Yeah,
I mean,
but it's a team game, bro. We know
it
that.
is, and
We
it's going
know
to be
that,
regular season when they play each other. So, I mean, it's going to be tough to tell. Bronny James, third string point guard. Come on now.
dude. I honestly don't think he'll see the floor, but you know he will. They're gonna throw him in at the end of one of these games, or like end of a quarter, and watch
Mhm.
him throw a lob to LeBron or some shit. It's gonna break the internet for the next fucking whatever. But
Yeah, and then 16, I
yeah,
got the Clippers. They definitely fell down on your list opposed to what you would have had last year too. They're just getting older. They obviously lost Paul George. They tried to make up for it, signing like Nick Batum. No, that's not going to work. Harden and Kawhi are both injury prone.
yeah,
Um, Russell Westbrook, not that he helped that much off the bench. He's parting ways with the Clippers this summer.
yep.
So I guess I still have him above the Rockets, which I don't know, honestly, because we can
Yeah,
talk about the Rockets for a second. They're
yeah. Talk
young
about polar
core.
opposites,
They are
dude.
polar opposites. The Rockets' young core is actually phenomenal.
Top five in the league,
Top
top four in
if
the league,
if you're depends what age you cut off young core, but if you're going like 23, 24, cutting it off, I think top two or three
top two.
with
Yeah.
Reed Shepard and Min Thompson and Cam Whitmore. Obviously,
Dog.
Reed wasn't on the team last year, but Whitmore and Thompson didn't even play that much last year behind Jabari, Jalen Green, Sengun. But they
Are
have
you
Thompson and Shepard who they're gonna be players you have to play for what they bring defensively and the energy they
dude?
bring, and just Reed Shepard being Reed Shepard. I mean, and Whitmore, they're both showing out in summer league.
Such an athlete, dude. You got it. Like, they almost got too many guys. Like that's literally they have
I
so many
know.
young guys that they almost have too many. But
What a
dude,
good problem to have.
they've been drafting better than anyone in the league. Besides
Yeah.
maybe like I don't even know, maybe like better than anyone in the league.
Yeah, I think
Sengun,
so.
they got a steal. The only thing was weird is when like they did go on that winning streak when Sengun was out, and it's like Jabari Smith was playing the five, Jalen Green was just going nuts. So like
Hmm.
there are some question marks, but yeah, they're young, straight young guns, and they're ascending rapidly. So obviously, like we said, polar opposite of the Clippers, just straight old guys, and you don't know what to expect. But man, I would love to see Reed Shepard, maybe starting halfway through the year, something like that. Like put him at the point, dude. He can play off ball, he can play on ball. He doesn't
Hmm.
need to score. He can play defense. And like Fred Van Vliet, like, yeah, he's great and all. I don't know if he really does he need to be on this team? Dylan Brooks, get him out of here. We don't need those
Yeah,
older.
get Dylan out. But I think Van Vliet is a good guy for
He's a
Reed to
good
back
vet.
up.
Yeah. But dude, yeah, they're paying him what, 40 million? That's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, I do agree with that. You kind of need some vets and experience. He's a good
Yeah.
shooter, so you can keep that. But like you got Amen Thompson, uh Tari Eason, Jabari Smith, Cam Whitmore. Like these guys are all playing like the same positions pretty much.
Yep.
It's so many guys, but I guess it's a good problem to have. Better than nobody. And I mean, they got the depth. It's just gonna come down to like, is Jalen Green taking over? Is he making a jump? Is he gonna average like 28, like some Anthony Edwards type stuff? Or is he
Yeah.
gonna be the whack shooting erratic shots Jalen Green that he's been?
They're gonna have to have a system, and if obviously training camp, they're all gonna be battling for for minutes. Some players have them locked up, like Green, obviously, and Sengun, and I guess Jabari Smith. But if Udoka, who's a great coach for the
I
Celtics,
was about to
yeah,
say, great coach.
he was a good coach for the Celtics before he did all that. But yeah, no, the Rockets have him now, and if you can get a system going with these young players, I mean, they could shoot off these rankings and make some noise in the West for
Yeah.
sure.
And like we said, we love what they did with Reed Shepard. Great pick. I think, like we said, him and Stephon Castle. I don't know if you said it, but I've been saying it. My two favorite players in the draft. I think they're going to be the two best and probably the two most NBA ready right now, which is crazy because they're both 19-year-old, one and done.
Summer League is sure showing that.
Love those two guys. And yeah, Reed Shepard fits great on this team, dude. And yeah, great coach. It's gonna be interesting to see like how they go about it. But yeah, it's man, this is gonna be a fire season. And like they went on a winning streak and somehow ended up at what, the 10th, 11 seed,
Mm-hmm.
500 last year.
Yep.
Only getting better, I believe. So look out, all these old teams. And
True. Times are changing. And
speaking of
another team like that is the Spurs. I got
yep.
them at 19.
No, yeah, hey, let's talk about let's talk about Spurs Warriors. I was gonna say one of them old teams, the Warriors. I got a
Yep.
star next to him right here because the Lauri marketing talks. So we can talk about Warriors real quick, but obviously they actually drafted incredibly well and they've got some great young guys, but it seems like they're about to package them up and maybe get Lauri marketing on the team. Um, I think that put a star next to him, it probably bumps him up a little bit, maybe over the Clips and Rockets and shit like that. But right now, as it sits, there's no way you can put him over most of these teams. They're just old. It's literally Curry and Draymond out there by themselves, and then the young guys are kind of doing their thing, but it's just not the same old Warriors, and it's
I
hard for them to carry a season like that. And
I know. It's a lot on Steph Curry,
yeah,
especially with
but
Clay gone. Draymond's gonna help him out a little bit, and Pods, he's gonna be good. Um,
yeah, but
but
they got
yeah,
to trade him for Laurie. Like, what's gonna
yeah,
happen?
that's right. Depending on who they give up for Lauri, they could move up to maybe like 13, 14. But so if they keep Kuminga and get Lauri Markkinen, they would shoot up high. But I mean, I think
I agree.
If I'm the Jazz, I want either picks and Pods or picks Wiggins and Kuminga. It depends what package they give up, and they have the packages to give up because like the potential. But now's the time for Kuminga, Pods, and Wiggins to show what they got. And
Well, I
Wiggins did it 2 years ago, but it's time
I,
for them to do it now.
I think he's kind of fading.
Yeah, he's not getting better.
He's not getting better, but Kaminga is, Trace Jackson Davis, Pods, they're all getting better. They're just they got Steph Curry. We're trying to win now. Like you can't waste these last years of Curry, and they're in between, like we said, they're in between the rebuild and they have a top 10 player of all time in their team. So you
Yeah,
got a star next to him, a little asterisk, because if they get Laurie, I think it moves them up as contender wise, but man, it shakes up their future. But also, yeah, if you're the Jazz, why not trade Laurie, get future picks so when the Warriors do blow it up in a few years, get stacked, get the young guys, get the picks. Danny Ainge knows what he's doing, and it would probably be great for the Jazz because they're not winning anything with Laurie
no,
Martin as the best player. So
not. And
that's what we know about the Warriors. But yeah,
I got the Spurs above the Warriors.
that
That
is
was another one.
crazy. That is crazy, but
I
hey,
know. I mean, but you got
I
them one
like it.
behind,
I
so
like
I
it.
have
I
them
like
at
it.
19
Yes.
because yeah, the Warriors are getting older and they didn't get better yet this offseason. And the Spurs did. They got better even by not getting anybody, just because Wemby's going to be better next year. So you got Wemby next year with Chris Paul. I don't know how big his role is going to be.
It did get some people, yeah.
Like you said, Castle probably
Castle's a dog.
top
I
three
love
get
Castle.
top three get in the draft, and then Keldon Johnson. He's kind of like a Josh Hart type guy, like a smaller guard that gets rebounds, a type of player you want. And then Devin Vassell, he's gonna have a leap year too. I think he's
Yep.
gonna he's gonna make a name for himself this year. Um, let's
But
look at
yeah,
the depth chart real quick
I'm
too.
pulling up this depth chart. Yeah, they did get Harrison Barnes,
Yeah, he's gonna
a
start.
solid vet. He could start. Yeah, so this is what they
Big
say the
guy.
starters are going to be, but I would love to see Stephon Castle starting. I think he can play the two. I think he can do whatever. He's just so good, like just a defender, plays everything right. He's athletic. I just think he plays the game the right way, and I think Pop's gonna love him, put him in.
Yeah,
But I was saying it still is kind of a rough overall roster. Like, you know, like I mean, this is decent, but they're in the West. It's tough. I had written down they're a playing team in the East for sure, but in the West,
yeah.
we gonna see. But yeah, Wemby jump. Chris Paul is gonna make them so much better. Harrison Barnes, a solid vet, not gonna do much, but Stephon Castle, my favorite, second favorite player in the draft, easy. So
Yeah, but you can't start Castle and Chris Paul. But
yeah,
again,
I think you can.
well,
It's
I don't
tough.
think you can. Dude, Vassell needs to start
I think
for
they
sure.
start all three of them, dude. I think they can.
And then what? Barnes at the four.
Barnes or Sohan and then Wemby. It's
Maybe
just
yeah,
you
that makes
play
sense.
around with it a little bit.
Yeah, so I got the Spurs higher than the Warriors as of right now. It could change first game of the season. It could change after a trade, but as of right now, I got them. And the Warriors, I'll still put the Warriors in the middle tier though.
Yeah, still mid. They are kind of like talking about one move away. Lauri could help them a lot, but also are they contending with just adding Lauri Markkinen? I doubt it, but he's still a dog.
Maybe.
Let's talk about this team right here.
Yeah, we snuck by the
He snuck
forgot
by
about the
him. Come
Grizzlies you
on,
got.
man. Come on, man.
So you got
Let
them
me
at 17.
let me just spit facts real quick. You got
Okay.
him 21. You probably gonna want him high, have him higher after this.
I don't think so.
Y'all played 9 games the whole entire year. We know that. Jaren Jackson, or no, I'm sorry, Desmond Bain was hurt a lot. They were missing a lot of guys. I think with Ja playing every game, they're a 500 team at least. So they were one of the worst teams in the league without Ja. He only played 9 games. He's just such a dynamic player, and their whole offense is around him that you got to move them up, I think, with Ja. They got a great starting five. We could pull it up right now, and they got the boy Edie. I think he gonna play. I think he's gonna start for them, and I think it could be a home run
Okay.
pick that a lot of people hated on. He just fits it like they need a center. Jaren Jackson is not a center. He's a stretch
Nope.
four. He's just that type of guy. They need a little defense and rebounding. Edie can get you that. He can get you easy buckets. I'm not starting Marcus Smart. I'm bringing him off the bench. Desmond Brain starting. Oh wait, yeah, no. And then I'm starting GG Jackson, one of my favorite players in the league by far, bar none. This dude's a bucket. He's an absolute dog. He's an NBA player. He's built like a fucking
Yeah.
NBA
And
player.
when all the trash players are playing, he goes off. I'll give you that.
But hey, you got to see something out of him. If they never had all that injuries, they would have never got to see how good he actually is. But dude, I was pissed when he fell in the draft last year because he was a top recruit,
I
went to
know.
South Carolina, and everyone forgot about him. But real ball heads like us, because we know ball,
He should have gone higher, yeah.
dude, he's just an NBA build. Like he's a small forward. He can shoot, he can score, he can defend, he can jump out the gym. Like, dude, he's the youngest player in the or he was youngest player in the league last year. Like, bro, I love GG Jackson. Start him, put Desmond Bain at the two. That's a crazy starting lineup. They're
Yeah, Gigi is one of those dudes that he's not that good in college, but he's just meant to play in the NBA.
exactly, bro. And
So, yeah.
some
No,
people just
dude,
don't see that.
this is a good lineup. I'll give you that. You got Morant defense and Smart, and then you got all the defense with Jackson, and then boards with Edie, Bain shooting. Yeah, Brandon
Brandon
Clark.
Clark, solid off the bench, missed the whole year. Vince Williams, dog off the bench. Zaire Williams, I'm pretty sure he missed the whole year. And then
Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose is crazy. Scottie
That's
Pippen
wow.
Jr., a dog, just a
Yeah.
solid backup third string point guard. I like the
Yeah.
Grizzlies, dude. And like obviously everybody forgot about him, but dude, if Ja plays the whole year by
Okay.
himself, They don't even need the rest of them. They're a solid 500 team. So
I
they're
got some
even up.
2 years ago. Grizzlies without Jaw. You don't know what the record was without Jaw?
What was it?
20-5.
Okay, what was it with them?
That year
Yeah,
we can pull up their record, but 20-5 without them. They got the two
dude.
seed.
I do remember that, but that shit don't matter when it comes down to it. Playoff time. Who do you want on your team, bro? Who do you want taking the last shot, running
Jaw's one of
the
those
offense?
guys. He's one of
Ja.
those guys.
I know you're right. They were winning all them games without him and all that, but dude, he's the heart and soul of the team. Good or bad, he's done some questionable things lately, but dude, I love John Moran and I think he's gonna bring them back to the promised land. And honestly, I could put him up higher than most of these teams. We just got to see it. We got to
Yeah,
see
I
Zach
would.
out there.
After
And
what you said, I'd probably keep. No, listen, I'd keep him at 21, but I'd move the bottom tier below the Grizzlies. I'd put him in the middle tier, but I can't put him above any of these teams in the middle tier yet. Maybe the Spurs and maybe the Warriors, but I don't know. They need to prove it. They're a team that needs to prove it to me.
I agree, but like, hey, they will. And it was so whack without Ja.
They
They
were.
Everyone knows it. They basically had like a G League team out there because Jaren Jackson was playing a lot, but Desmond Bane was out and all their core guys. So if they get all them back, say everyone's healthy, dude, the Grizzlies are back to
I
being
know. Dude, the
they're deep
West,
up there.
it's just another team in the West. You throw in there, it's like, what are these
Insane.
rankings going to look like?
Dude, hold on. This is crazy. We have one, two, three, four, five out of the middle tier are in the East, and the whole rest is the West. Like, dude, this is insane.
Yeah,
But
so our
it's
top
fast.
21, we have 12 West teams. There's only three left, and it's Blazers, Jazz, and
Hey, you
someone
want to
else.
talk about the bottom? Let's go to the bottom,
Go to the
boys.
bottom.
Here we go. Oh man, I think it's no
Wizards, we
surprise.
both got the Wizards at 30. Okay.
All right, let's talk
Okay.
about it. Let's talk about it.
So, yeah, we just talked about the Grizzlies. Um, I put the Blazers at 22 because
Sorry.
they still have Aiton. They got Scoot, Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant. I just think I can't name a team below them that has a better team as of right now. All these teams that we see that on the bottom tier, they're just like they got some draft picks, they got some good players, but they're just unorganized, like
Yep.
in a bad way. Like the Rockets are unorganized in like a good way with all those players. But like I don't know, it was hard to rank these teams for me. So
Extreme. That's why
why'd
we
you
got
rank
them.
these in your way?
That's why we got them in tiers because it's just
Yeah,
hard to
exactly.
rank them, but we know that there is a significant gap in the middle and these guys, I believe so. So, uh, yeah, the Jazz, I got a little star next to them because with or without Lauri is a huge difference. And
Hmm.
I think I wrote down, I mean, I think if they trade Lauri, even if they don't, they want to tank and want to rebuild and get the best possible draft pick because this draft is loaded and
Yep.
just there's no point in winning because it's like, well, you don't want to be in the middle of the league. You want to be at the bottom and get you a Cooper Flag or something like that. But
Yep.
yeah, I could see them trading for Kaminga and some young guys and get the Warriors picks and just going full rebuild. And I think they want to tank. So if Lauri's gone, that drops him down a lot. Like you got him 24. We can talk about that. Yeah, I got the Bulls, Raptors, Hawks above the Blazers. I just don't know. I just don't know who the Blazers are rolling with like as their number one. Like they got Scoot, they got DeAndre Ayton, they got Anthony Simons, but
Jeremy
it's just like
Grant.
Jeremy Grant. It's just yeah, it's just such a random roster.
Yeah, no, that's
A lot
facts.
of a lot of shit going on, and they need to tank, and they need to rebuild. They are in the rebuild stage, but they need to tank and try and get the best pick possible, is what I believe.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, basically, I just said who's the number one, and they don't got any identity. I don't think DeAndre Ayton is going to help you win a lot of games. Like as your second or first best player, like that's not great.
Hmm.
But man,
Yeah.
uh, the Bulls and the Hawks, what are they doing? We don't know. The Bulls are in the middle of a rebuild, and so with the Hawks, but they also got like a great player on their team. It's just
Hmm.
so it's just so confusing. Like the Hawks could go full rebuild with Trae Young on their team. Like that's just hard to do. And I don't know. I think they lose a lot in DeJounte Murray. Like I think he clutched up for them in a lot of good situations. But man, if I'm them, like you got them lower. You want to lose. Like you want to
Yeah.
lose big time, just flat out. Try and get the
All
best pick.
these teams, all these teams, I mean, they were pretty bad last year and they're going to be bad next year and they should all just tank, but it's just boring when you know they're tanking. So like beginning of the season, they're going to try like the Jazz first 20 games last year, they were like top 5 in the West, but then we knew it was coming at some point. Um,
Let's just
yeah,
call it
the Raptors, yeah, dude, the Raptors just like they have Scotty and RJ Barrett, so I guess I put them above the rest of these
right.
teams.
But
At this point, I was just thinking about which team has the best player, and that's
right,
why I put RJ and Scotty, or for the Raptors at 23. Jazz don't know what they're doing. Bulls
again,
still have DeRozan, or no, they still have Levine, and they got a good draft pick in uh, Buzelis.
yeah.
But and then yeah, the Hawks they're gonna make some moves at some point soon. So I just
Again,
East teams are just don't know what they're doing. Yeah,
you want, yeah, these are all East except for one. But yeah, all these teams like are gonna be tanking, and they should be to try and get the best pick. There's no like the Bulls have been steady like 40 and 41, 41, 41
yeah,
steady every single year. Like it's doing nothing for them. You might as well tank and try and get the best pick you can. And you got to talk about it because it is a reality in the NBA. The Raptors, like Scotty, the number one. I don't know how many games that's winning you. I like their team, but man, they need a lot. They need a lot.
yeah, they
Uh,
do.
Hornets, who knows? The healthy LaMelo, how many wins is that getting you? I don't know.
I don't
And if
know.
he's not healthy, they're going to be the worst team in the league, probably again. But
Hmm.
again, yeah, so many question marks. The Nets, we both got them. You got them lower than I do. I should probably have them lower. This might be the worst roster. This could be one of the worst rosters in the league. It literally looks like a random like futuristic 2K roster, like that you're like 5 years into a league, and you're
Yeah,
what is going on with this team? I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Like, dude, there was no reason for Michael Bridges to be on that team, so thank God they freed him. But if any team wants to tank, it's them. Pray to God you get the number one pick or something. But dude, this roster is just ugly. Like all these guys, like it's just a roster full of role players. And if you don't have a number one guy, like it's going to be Cam Thomas shooting 30 shots a game and go get hitting prospects numbers, but he's not going to be winning you games. I'll promise you that. So,
exactly. Yeah.
uh dude, Cam Johnson, honestly, he should get traded. He needs to be on a contending team. Like any team wants Cam Johnson. He's a solid role player shooter.
Feel
But
bad for him. I
dude,
mean,
see,
he was on
I
the
mean, yeah,
Suns and gets traded to the Nets, and now they're awful. I mean,
this roster is horrible. Ben Simmons, good God, get him out of the league. I don't want to see Ben Simmons. He doesn't even play. It's just terrible. Claxton,
best player.
best player. Cam Thomas, best player, and then Cam Johnson. Like this team is a team full of role players that would be a fifth best player on your team, and that's who they got starting. Man, it's ugly. But and then
Yeah.
yeah, let's
These
talk
last
about
four teams, I mean, could have
Yeah,
gone either way.
we know it. We
Yeah, we
both
both
know.
had the same last four teams: Hornets, Pistons, Nets, Wizards. Put it in whatever order you want. Um, I just put the Hornets because they have the best player out of the four teams, and
Right.
then the
And
Wizards are probably like honestly better than the Nets, but I just threw them at 30 just because it's the Wizards. I mean, they're just so bad, and they
dude,
had
that
losing streak last year. I mean, these
they're
four teams just have. they need to tank, and they better hope they get the number one overall pick next year.
Yeah, I put in Wizards. I put in bold Cooper Flag sweepstakes. They are this
Going
team.
all in.
This roster is god awful. They don't have a number one. They don't even have a number two. Like Kuzma,
No,
what is
he's a,
Kuzma doing on this team,
he's
bro?
a 3 or 4, and he's their best player.
Yeah, he needs to be on exactly like a contender as like a third or fourth, maybe even fifth option, and he's on the Wizards as their best player. Like they are 100%, and I think it's like honestly not a bad thing, but it's gonna be rough if you're a Wizards fan. But pray you get that number one pick. Cooper
Hmm.
Flag stakes like this team, they're gonna be awful, and they should be tanking, and they should be at number one next year. So that's good for them. Pistons, someone help them. Like they got a new coach, bro. I like Cade, I like Jalen Duren. They got Thompson Twin and just a bunch of random guys. It's just like, man, dude, do they need some help?
All these rosters are just like ugly. Like I hate looking at it. It's like
Dude,
what? They have three centers that are all lefties, like Bagley, Duran, uh, Wiseman. It's like who's the guy and trade another one. Like let's look at the Pistons roster. I mean, they've
like
been they've been so unlucky
cursed,
in the
cursed.
they've been
Look
they're
at
cursed.
dude,
So
this
unlucky
team went
though in the
14. God,
NBA draft lottery. I mean, they can't get a number one overall pick besides
bro.
Cade Cunningham, and what has he done?
Yeah, like I still hold high hopes for Cade, but even
Tobias
then,
Harris.
yeah. Oh wow, Tobias Harris, Jim Hardaway Jr. That's gonna save them. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, dude. You would have thought they learned 7 years ago or whenever it was, and they got Tobias Harris the first time. Like,
Yeah.
dude, what are they doing? I mean, I like, is he gonna win you one or two more games? I guess, but it's like, dude, man, this team, it's not a horrible like lineup, but it's just full rebuild, and they've been rebuilding for what, 10 years now? Like, I don't even know. Like,
So
man,
bad, dude.
it's just ugly, dude.
Looks like a summer league team. Like actually,
Yeah, like exactly. Jalen Duren, great young player. Cade Cunningham, great young player. Jay Navi,
good
I
young
don't know.
player.
Yeah, Monty Williams hurt them. Asar Thompson, pretty solid, but they need a number two, they need a number three, and then the rest of these guys can fit in perfect. But dude, they're so far away, and they need help.
Like, dude, they have good players. It's just like, dude, the
Well,
NBA is getting more stacked. People forget, like, yeah, this roster, we look better this year. Every team is eventually in the next 2 3 years getting better, and like the players are just better on each team every year.
Yeah,
Just they're dude,
and
they look better than what they have, but it's not like getting you up higher in like the power rankings or anything.
yeah,
It's just
like, and is Ron Holland gonna be, like a big time player? Like, I don't know. I don't think so. Like, I would have rather seen Matas Buzelis. I think he's gonna be better off the rip.
Mhm.
But hey, again, it's hard to say that when they've been so bad. Like, let's just draft anybody. But yeah, let's take a look at this Hornets roster too, real quick, dude. It's you look at some of these rosters and you're
I don't
actually
want to. I hope they're not starting the guy they got this year.
you don't even want to see it. Miles Bridges coming back. Sure, why not? Let's disregard.
Okay, I mean, okay, this isn't as bad as I thought. You got
It's not.
LaMelo and Brandon Miller. That's pretty good backcourt, but like, is that a backcourt? One and two.
That's not terrible, but the rest is just awful. You can see why we got them ranked so low, but yeah, the consensus bottom of the league.
Yep.
There's nothing else you can really say about these bottom five teams. Uh, all tank for Cooper Flag, full rebuild.
Yep. Overall, dude, our lists are bottom tier is pretty much the same, except one or two off. Middle list, there's a few that are controversial, but the bottom tier is just pretty obvious, honestly.
Yeah, and hey, let's look for a Lauri marketing trade.